Top beer. Top beer. Top beer.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Top Beer, video and audio edition. Tim, you were asking me why are we doing this? What's my plan? Well,
I did not ask that.
doing this sort of thing is all the rage nowadays. Is it all the rage or all the rave? By the way, I never really understood.
It's
that.
definitely not rave.
So it's rage.
I would say yes. It's all the rage.
Does anyone ever say like, "Oh, people are raving about this new thing"? Or
People do say that they're raving about new things.
So isn't it in the realm of possibility to say, for it to be it's all the rave
Nope,
nowadays?
Nope. Definitely not.
Well, anyway, it's all the rage nowadays to do video streaming shows. So,
Is it?
We're just pandering to that demographic because we're getting old and there's nothing else that we can really do to impress the youngins anymore. What is that? Well,
Hey,
hold on.
youngins.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
No, this is Ramble beer. This is pre-show beer.
Pre-show beer. So yes, this is Top Beer. I already started drinking my beer, and I'm Finback. What does that mean, Finback?
Some brewery. It's pretty popular, I think, right now. I've been digging him. I've been digging on him.
I thought I saw Mumford on that can.
Yeah, it's a collaboration.
Why do some breweries do collaborations anyway? Is it just for what?
Just to prove that they can.
Prove that they can.
Just to fight everyone who says they can't.
Tim, how's your week been?
Yes, sir.
What's been going on with
Same old, really. Doing a lot of work. Favorite thing to do.
you? Uh-huh.
Keeping busy with that. Let's see.
I sound like I'm getting sick, or I just got over a sickness. I was I was a little sick.
Are you down with the sickness?
Exactly. I was a little sick last week, but this week
Okay.
I was getting runny nose. I was getting, I still had this cough from last week, so I don't know if it's like residual sickness or what it is, but I can't seem to kick this cough. And the last couple of days, my nose was super runny. I'm fine now. I don't know what's going on. I think there's some weird super bug going around. You work in the health industry. What have you heard about this
You
shit?
sound like an idiot.
See?
Yep, sound dumb.
So
Like I said.
So what's
Extra
there's a super flu going around, is what they say.
It's
That's
just
what I
you.
keep
You're just
hearing. Rumblings of a super flu, Tim. Tell me the truth. Don't hide it from me.
you just are down with the sickness. That's it. Can't help it.
You should know you're sick like every other month. So
That's a lie. That's a flagrant lie. And because it's being recorded, I believe that's slander. So I will be seeing you in court for a libel, even.
how much are you gonna sue me for?
Everything you're worth plus $5.
I'm not worth much, so good luck with that.
I do not. Yeah, I'm gonna inherit your debt.
Yeah, you're gonna inherit all my student loan debt, my credit card debt.
That is not necessarily a good thing for me.
No, it's not. So you
Especially not right now.
You save
The
yourself
last thing I need.
by not suing me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well then I'll do that. What are you drinking? You shouldn't be drinking show beers before the show starts.
Well, you know how long it takes me to get through a beer, so I figure I get started early. But
Yeah,
we're doing things a little bit differently now. We're sort of changing up the format a little bit. We're only going to do 2 beers from now on, unless it's
We're gonna do video so that the kids think that we're cool.
exactly. And yeah, so this is kind of a new format we're trying out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we'll just go back to the drawing board, or we'll just go back to the old format.
Maybe we could go to even another new format. We could pivot.
That's wonderful.
That's okay. You can come in as many times as you want. Good cameo.
So you like me to just keep coming in and doing weird stuff?
I do.
All right. Well, I'll do it one more time then.
I love it.
I won't tell you when.
It's very professional.
Yes.
It's just as professional as the fact that I usually am watching wrestling while we're recording. So
Are you really? Are you really?
most of the
doing that
time,
shit
yeah.
right now?
Most of the time,
Did you
why
see
not?
Did you see the message I
Nope.
sent you on Twitter? You saw it.
Definitely not.
Of Randy, the Macho Man,
Macho King,
Macho King
please
Savage with the
respect the dead.
the Slim Jim.
Rest in heaven.
old
Yeah,
Slim Jim.
yeah. He was a Slim Jim guy.
That was honestly my first. Excuse me. That was my first exposure to him.
There's no excusing for
was to the
you.
Slim Jim commercials that he did.
Cappy Slim Jim Man.
Do you remember the movie the Hulk did? The babysitter movie? You have to remember it.
I don't have to. In fact, I refuse. I will never. Literally never.
Here, I gotta look it up now because I was thinking about that movie the other day and I couldn't remember it. Hulk Hogan IMDb.
Big Hulk Daddy.
Because you know he's on the old IMDb. There he is.
Of course, he's a fucking major celebrity.
What's
How
his
would he
real
not?
name? Terry Malone
Terry
Jr.?
Bollea.
What is it?
Terrence Bollea.
He was in Rocky 3?
Of course he was. He was Thunderlips.
Was he a wrestler in that movie?
No, he was a fight man.
Mr. Nanny, that's what it was called.
No, Nanny Man.
1990
Captain Nanny, brother dude.
What's that?
Captain Nanny, brother dude. Jack.
I don't know.
That was his name.
Is that was that his name?
That's the name of the movie.
Well, I'm seeing Mr. Nanny on IMDb. Came out in 1993. It was written by Edward Rugoff and Michael Gottlieb, which it's like Rosencrantz and Frankenstein or whatever those Shakespeare characters are called.
Nope, that's not a thing. Making stuff up again.
A former professional wrestler is hired to be the bodyguard / nanny for a couple of bratty kids whose inventor father is being stalked by a rival.
Huh.
Why would an inventor stalk another inventor? I don't get it. That seems
to steal his inventions.
Strange to me. Oh, yeah. So it's like Tesla and Edison or something?
Yeah, exactly like Tesla and Edison. You know that old story where Edison was stalking Tesla for decades?
Stealing all his ideas.
Trying to steal his tubes.
Exactly.
Trying to break into his house late at night and take his tubes.
Sherman Hemsley was in it from what's that show called?
Arrested Development.
Moving on up to the east side. Got to get a piece of that pie.
I believe the name of that show was Moving On Up.
Was it called? It wasn't called Moving On Up.
No, it was not. The Jeffersons?
The Jeffersons, yes.
Was that what it was called?
It was called the
No,
Jeffersons.
that was the name of the family.
But it was called, it was, his wife's name was
Rosencrantz and Fartzenstein? Was that the name of the...
Exactly. The Jeffersons. Anyway,
Big Jeffies.
That was probably my very early exposure to the Hulk man.
The Hulkamaniac?
Hulkamaniac back in the 90s. See, they don't make terrible movies like they used to, Tim.
They do.
I mean? All the terrible movies nowadays feel so jilted and stale. It's like at least terrible movies back then were right in their convictions. You know what I mean? Like they knew they were making a bad movie, but they still had fun with it. Nowadays they make terrible movies because they just have to crank them out. I saw a stupid movie the other day on Netflix. It was like a terror psychological thriller type movie or whatever.
Get Out?
No. It was it's about this mom and her son move into this this wood fucking lodge house or whatever, and like they're getting stalked by some unknown person or entity or something.
Is this Brave New World, the movie version?
No.
Okay.
She does take a lot of pills though.
Okay, that's pretty close.
But it's such a dumb movie. They never resolve who it was that was stalking them. They both just.
It turned out the stalker was in our hearts the whole time.
Spoiler alert. They both just end up dead at the end of the movie, and then it ends with a shot of a car going to another open house because their house was an open house because it was like her sister's or whatever.
Okay,
and that's it. That was the whole fucking movie.
It was her sister. They were trying to sell her sister's house.
Yeah, because it was on the open. It was on the market. So
okay.
They had an open house. Somebody who came to the open house at some point stayed there and was stalking them and making weird shit happen. I don't know. It was a really terrible movie. I'm not even gonna tell you what it was called, but it has the kid from 13 Reasons Why, which I don't know if you saw that show.
I feel like I could easily look this up now. You said you're not going to tell me what the movie is, but I can look that kid up. I can check his IMDb. Seconds.
But see what I
Seconds
mean? Like,
flat. Boom. Bam. I see it. He was in this. Oh, he was in this. Yeah. Oh, wait. He was in this also. Which one of these has a mom? Who's playing that mom?
Yeah. Going back to the Hulkster, man, he's got a lot of IMDb credits. Holy shit.
Yeah, Hulkster in heaven, brother.
Damn, son.
I mean, how many of those are wrestling, though?
Well, most of them.
Because WCW, like, treated their show like it was a show. So they, like, did ending credits on the shows and stuff, so I think that he probably gets more credits on there because of that.
As an actor, he has 146 credits. Wait a minute. Actor, I don't know what they're talking about. Wrestling is totally real. Wink, wink.
Why are you saying wink?
I don't know.
Our new sponsor, Wink. It's a wine club where you tell them what you like, and then they send you wines that are good. It's spelled WINK. Use promo code Lucha Undead, and you'll get nothing because that's not real.
We should start. I have $2 billion ideas, by the way. Have I told you about these?
You have $2 billion ideas, like regularly. You have ideas that are $2 billion ideas.
I have
or
two ideas that are
currently have two ideas
Yes.
that are $1 billion ideas.
Yes, that's what I meant
Okay.
to say. I have two ideas that are each worth about $1 billion. They just have to get made.
Flat, $1 billion cash, or we talking net or gross?
Just
We taking this home? We getting this $1 billion
Just-
in the bank?
valuation. You know what I mean? Like companies.
Okay,
are
so
worth
so you
more.
have an offer sheet with the valuations.
Yeah.
You're looking. I'm looking. Listen, you want to get in on the ground floor here? I'm looking for at least $250,000. No, wait, at least $25 million to get you, and you're getting 15% valuation on this bad boy. That's the kind of ideas you got.
Exactly. So
Okay.
so there's some good equity there. If you're interested, to let me know.
I mean, it's worth it.
We'll
It's
talk after
really
the show.
a Shark Tank situation.
It really is.
Dragon's. You know they call it Dragon's Lair in England, I think.
Yeah, or Dragon's Den or something.
Yeah, that's not as good.
No, it's not.
But I think it's probably because we're American.
Right.
Like they probably call it that there because it is as good there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that feels like that has to be. That couldn't be that they came up with that name in England and then they were like, when they heard Shark Tank, they were like, oh, that's much better. Like
right. Well,
they probably were like, oh yeah, no, that's not as good.
Dragon makes sense because it's England, you know, like
Right,
dragons and
and
shit.
dragons are known for being very vicious in England.
Exactly.
Not like in America where dragons are super chill.
Yeah.
Chillest dragons.
They just, they smoke weed and hang out all
Yeah,
day.
that's how we think of dragons: is smoking weed and Pokemon. Are there dragon Pokemon?
There's some dragon that are Pokemon, sure.
Yeah, see, Pokemon are cool. They're not a bad. That's how people talk.
They're not a bad, no. I know, I like that. I prefer that. Where was I? Oh yeah, no, I'm only gonna tell you about one of my $1 billion ideas.
Oh, you're gonna save the other one for yourself, huh?
Exactly, because I don't want people to rip me off.
Okay.
So imagine like Uber, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
instead of like calling
This
a
is-
car to pick you up, right? Say you're on a hike and you climb a big
You're
ass
calling.
hill.
You just directly call a creepy man to come and harass you.
Right, so you're on top of this big ass hill that you just hiked, and you don't want to hike back down. So what do? You call an Uber drone to come pick you up. So this
Okay.
big heavy duty drone is like buzzing above your
Got it.
head,
Got
and
it.
like a harness like rappels
Uh-huh.
down from the drone, and then you get in said harness, and then the drone just fucking takes you down the hill and drops you off at wherever you want to be dropped off at. So it's like an
Okay.
Uber drone.
Okay.
That picks your ass up. I mean, it
I
doesn't
don't.
have to
I
be
hate
just
this
for
idea.
hiking.
I literally hate this idea.
That's just one application. Obviously, like say you go to a concert, and obviously some venues have huge parking lots or whatever. You don't want to walk like a quarter mile to your car after
Mhm.
the concert's over because you're probably a little drunk. You're probably throwing up all over the place or whatever.
So high on drugs,
So you're high on drugs,
party
you know,
drugs.
and
You took a bunch of party drugs.
tons of party drugs. So you call an Uber drone. The Uber drone just comes to where you're at, based on your GPS location, drops the harness, you strap into the harness, and bam. It takes you to your car, you get in your car, and you drive home. Bob's your uncle, as the British like to say.
That is still a terrible idea.
Obviously, there's a lot of liability issues, insurance, things like that. But I think if you were to like,
Also, like your hill idea, why wouldn't you have number one, plan better. Number two, have a little gumption. Number three, bring like a scooter or some kind of skateboard to ride down the hill on.
well, that's just a hypothetical situation. It doesn't necessarily have
It's
to be.
terrible. If you're going to sell this idea, you need to have hard, fast, good, like situationals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Get
I
me?
think that's a
You
good
feel
one
me?
because I was on a hike one day when I came up with this idea. And I was like, I don't want to have to go back down this fucking hill. I wish there was a way to just get down it faster. I wish I could just go on my phone and call, a fucking drone and just come pick me up. Oh, and there's other applications for it too. There's search and rescue applications. People get lost all the time.
No. Why would you search and rescue a drone to come save you? If you have the ability to get on the app, you could just call 911 or something else.
Well, if your leg's broke and you don't want to waste taxpayer dollars on precious helicopters.
No, the government should be paying for these things. We're talking about wasting taxpayer dollars.
Look,
no. We're not going to privatize the fucking search and rescue department. No, thank you.
Why do we privatize ambulances then? Tell me that. Explain
because
that to
we're
me.
terrible. Because the healthcare system is bad. We shouldn't be going towards that way. We should not be trying to push things along down this pathway. Because you know what happens next is that they say, like, oh, well, are you going to be able to pay for us to rescue you? Oh, no? Well, then fucking die. Die with a broken leg in the wilderness with a coyote eating your leg. No, thank you, Adrian. This is a terrible idea. Why did you give me this one? You had two ideas, and you gave me the worst one.
Well, the other one isn't as brave.
Is it Tesla Loop?
No, the other one is just a Costco-sized restaurant. You just walk into a restaurant building that's the size of a Costco, and it literally has every food item you can imagine from every country.
This is not good. You're just talking about a buffet. You're just talking about an oversized buffet.
No, it's a restaurant. Like any restaurant. You sit down, you order food, but you can order any kind of food you want. Italian, Mexican, Vietnamese.
Why does it have to be so big?
Because we're talking about food from every part of the world, Tim. How do you fit the whole world into one building? It has to be the
very easily when it's just a restaurant. All they have to do is cook the food. You don't need that much extra space.
It has to be the size of a Costco.
I've been to a buffet that had food from around the world. It wasn't any bigger than any other restaurant.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Well, maybe I haven't really thought.
Have you ever gone to Vegas?
Yes, I have.
They have this. It's a thing.
Well, this isn't buffet style, like I said. Like, this is sit down.
That's fine. You're just essentially saying the same thing that already exists, but a shittier version that's too big. That's your plan. Do you know how much rent is going to be for this building?
I have no idea. I mean, I figured you'd get a little bit of a break because if there was previously a Sam's Club or a Costco in there, they got to rent this building out quick. They're trying to make a quick buck. I'm sure they'd be willing to knock off a few bucks. What is that, Bolo? Bolo Nut something. Oh, that's really nice can art. Wow. Who made that? Bolo Burial beer. That looks pretty cool. Coconut something. Coconut brown. Anyway.
Bolo Coconut Brown.
Okay, well, I think we've gone off on too much of a tangent with these $2 billion ideas of mine. But I just wanted to share.
These are not even $5 ideas. These are negative money ideas. If you open a restaurant that big, you're going to go out of business within a week.
You think so?
Yes, there's no way you can afford the margins.
Like what, staffing and all the overhead and stuff?
Yes, the overhead is much too high.
Well, maybe someday in the future when food comes in the form of like a pill that you stick in a special microwave and it just magically turns into food. And the overhead will be, but that's a future that's
Wait, then the building would need to be even smaller.
That's true. I guess maybe Costco's a bit too. See, I think
much
big,
too big.
Tim. I think big. I go big or I go home, as they say.
You're going to be going home very quickly if you open this restaurant. But by home, I mean to a paper box on the street.
At least there's a lot less liability than the drone idea, the drone pickup idea.
The drone idea wasn't even about the liability. It was just stupid overall. But yes, I guess.
All right, well, Tim, I think that's enough chatter. I think this is a show called Top Beer, so let's go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna get into our first beer, which I already got a little ahead of myself. How does that sound?
Sounds good, but I think you already drank your first beer.
Well, I got more in the fridge. We'll be right back.
Oh.
All right, we're back to our regularly scheduled program. So, Tim, I already had my first beer. Like I said, I got a little.
No, we're supposed to be using movie magic. Don't tell the people.
Ooh.
You're drinking it right now.
Ooh, look.
Glug,
My first beer tonight, Tim. This is by Telluride Brewing Company. out of
Telluride?
beautiful Telluride, Colorado.
Telluride.
Brewed and canned by Telluride Brewing Company, a beautiful hybrid of an English and American brown ale that explodes with aromas of toffee, chocolate, and nut bounced hop forward with German noble and big American aroma hops. Don't be afraid to get down with the best brown around. Cheers. So this is the face down brown ale. There's the can. This is a guy skiing.
Okay.
There's a big skiing theme here in Colorado. It's all about the skiing here. It's all about that white powder.
So, I thought you meant skiing where you jerk two guys on.
Of course, you would think that.
If you were doing that, would you do boom like both at the same time, or would you do alternate?
I feel like alternate makes more sense, but
they're on your side, so they're like here.
oh, I alternate because at the same time I feel that feels that feels too machine like to me, like a piston.
What to do,
or something.
like this to go at the same time?
Yeah, that feels too machine like. I
I can see both. I mean, a car engine. You're talking about pistons. A car engine goes like.
Oh well, then in that case I would do it like pistons.
But that doesn't make it. Oh, so you would do piston style.
I guess I would. Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, this is a face down brown ale. It's very good. I just glug glug. I had a few sips, and let's see here. It's described on Untapped as smooth, malty, dark coffee, sweet. Definitely some coffee flavor, which I'm not always a huge fan of in these brown ales or porters and stouts and stuff. But it's balanced really well with all the other flavors. It's dark, but it's not super dark. It's not like I don't know. It's light enough that it's more enjoyable than, because I know some people, like me specifically, I think porters and stouts are a bit too heavy sometimes, or they say feel heavy. This doesn't feel heavy in your mouth at all. It actually feels really good. I'm gonna give this as an average rating on Untapped at 3.72. I'm gonna give this a 3. No, you know what? I'm gonna give this a 4. It's a really good beer.
Ooh, that's big.
It's a really good beer. Serving style can, location. Where's the meth lab? There was a meth lab on here. Oh, it's not on here anymore. That's fine.
Damn. All right. Well, I was showing it earlier. The Bolo Burial Brewing Bolo brown ale with coconut. It's a coconut brown. It says here the dense forests demand sharp blades. Worn, torn, chipped, and rusted, the Bolo shepherds the path. Later still, this tool of ancient times takes on the tired tasks of harvesting the hidden fruits of the tropics. Behold the complexity of simplicity, a clean brown ale rife with 9 barley malts, oats, brown sugar. Gasp at the profound aroma produced by a heavy addition of real coconut. Enjoy an aroma that reminds you of tropical granola, with a sweet maltiness that hints at chocolate and nuts baked in our kettle, cured to perfection.
Wow.
This beer is like way too cool, I guess. Whoever makes this beer has a little bit too much time on their hands. No, I get some nuttiness, I get some richness. I will say it's been sitting in the fridge for a bit, but it's a brown ale, so you wouldn't assume that to affect it too much.
Right.
See when it was canned. This, because it is not from California. This was canned in October 12th, 2017. So this is a bit on the older side. It's a brown ale. Could affect it.
Yeah.
Not getting a lot of coconut. Do get a little rich, nutty, chocolatey maltiness.
Yeah.
It's very dark. Very, very dark compared to my skin. It's a dark beer.
Yeah. Not a lot of head on there, I notice.
It's been sitting for a bit, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't get coconut. Not really.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, they make a big deal about the coconut, but I'm not getting it. I still like it. It definitely reminds me of some like nut browns, like British style nut browns and stuff like that from when I was a young boy. My father took me to the brown parade. Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's cool. I drink a bunch of these, but like I said, it's an imported beer from somewhere else. It's Asheville, North Carolina. So it was there's a little bit of a price tag on it.
Right.
And for the price tag, it's like not worth it because you can get brown ales that are very similar for not as much.
Right.
But not a lot of people make brown ales. In California, I was looking for one. I was looking for a local California brown ale, like just a regular brown ale, and I didn't really find one. I know that there are some. I could have gotten the Davy Brown from God, I can't remember the name of that brewery, but they're from like they're like more, I guess, Central Coast. They're like near Ventura. I can't remember the name of the brewery, but I know they make a brown that's like not seasonal. It's year round. It's decent. So I could have like maybe gotten one of those, but I had this in the fridge, so that's always nice when you already have the beer.
Right.
When you said brown, and then I was thinking, I'm pretty sure we've done browns before.
Yeah, but I figured it's kind of that time of the year.
Okay.
too.
Okay.
So.
I think of browns as more of a harvest beer.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give this a 3.5. Definitely would drink again, but not in the price tag. Price tag is just a little.
Well, how much did you pay for it?
I don't remember, but it was over $3.
For how many? How big is the can? How many ounces?
16-ounce can.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, it's reasonable, but it's a bit much when there's so many other good beers that you can get for a similar price,
Yeah, but I don't know. Because I've seen single bottles and cans of beer. They're like 12, 14 ounces, and they cost like $10, $12.
Yeah, for sure. It's not like the most expensive beer, but I guess my point is, like, I could spend that money on, like, literally any other beer.
Right. All right. So what are you giving it on Untapped, you said?
3.5.
What's the ABV on that bad boy?
Like 5? 5.6?
Yeah, so the one I had was a 5.7. So not super strong. Brown ales tend to be somewhere in the middle. They're not that light, but they're not that strong either.
Right.
So my next beer, Tim, this is a seasonal beer. This is by Odell, who I always talk about. So surprise, surprise, there it is. It's Odell's seasonal beer. This
Nice.
is, I've never seen this before. I've never had this before until I bought it recently. Settle Down Brown.
Ooh.
Settle Down Brown.
Setting down.
This is, I really like their whimsical description of this. Let me read this to you. You're going to enjoy this. In the winter months, somewhere between work hard and play hard, there's a moment that naturally seems to occur. A moment where you can sit back and relax with a good friend and, well, settle in. It's a moment like these that inspired us to create Settle Down Brown. This American brown has a rich malt flavor with complex tropical fruit and caramel notes. This is a 6.5 ABV, so it's a little bit stronger than what we just had. Yeah, I saw this at the store. I was like, I've never seen this seasonal before by Odell. I have to try this. And you know what? I'll tell you right now. Spoiler alert. I like it.
Okay.
I'm gonna pour it into my pint glass. Is that what these are called? Pint glass?
No, there's a different name for those. The kind that have a little bubble on the top there.
Yeah.
I mean, the pint is how much liquid it holds. The style of glass is different.
Or it's called yeah, you're right. I forget what it's called. Normally, these are normally for. Look at the head on that. Spilled it on my laptop and just ruined the whole show.
Muchas ruin.
I was just saying that I almost spilled it on my laptop.
Yeah,
very
it's an
dark.
imperial pint.
Imperial pint,
That's what
okay.
I see it called.
Ooh, very foamy head. I
Foamy
feel
head.
like every beer by Odell, it's like when they're making it, they're like, make sure this smells hoppy. No matter what it is. It could be an IPA, it could be a pale, it could be a brown or a stout but they're like, no. Make sure you can smell the hops before you drink it.
Nice. Actually, it's a Nonic British stouts, porters, ales.
What the
I got a
glass?
shaker pint glass because I didn't really care about this beer.
Right. Yeah, you can really smell the hops in this. In fact, if this was like a blind taste test and you had me smell it, I would think I was about to drink an IPA. So what does that tell you?
Okay.
But it doesn't taste like an IPA. Well, it's hoppy, but it's also, let's see.
Blind.
let's see. I like Untapped. Untapped. If you ever are not sure about what
If you're ever looking for a beer-related app, Untapped is a good one. You're right.
it is. So it's described as malty, hoppy, caramel, bitter, sweet. I'll tell you this.
Caramel complexion.
Hoppy, if I had to put it in order of like the flavor profile, hoppy, bitter, sweet, malty, and then caramel. Like in that order. Like that's the order of the flavors that you get in this beer. Maybe that's why I like it so much because I'm a hophead and I don't normally drink brown style beers,
Right.
but I drink this and it's like, oh, this is almost like a slightly brown IPA.
Yeah, right. Brown IPA. That's not a style that got really popular. I guess black IPA, Cascading Dark Ale. Cascading Dark Ale, right? That's what they're called.
Well, Odell has a black IPA. It's really delicious.
This is water
Oh, there you go.
with some liquid acid in it.
Got to cleanse the palate. I like this beer though. I already rated it on Untapped. What did I give it? Let's see. By the way, follow us on Untapped. We should always be plugging our Untapped accounts. I'm at Della Boots. Tim, you're at Lucha and Dead. Keep up with what we're drinking. I gave us 4 stars the other day. 4 stars.
Huh, that's really nice of you.
4. But yeah, this is a good beer.
4.
Excuse me. If you're a hophead like me, and you want to drink a brown style beer that's pretty hoppy, I would recommend this beer because it's good, it's hoppy, it's malty, it's good balance of hops and malts, and it's a brown. I mean, settle down by a fireplace, Tim.
Settle down, brown.
I know Christmas is over and shit, but it's still winter here in Colorado, like a real winter, not like what you guys get in Los Angeles. And this is just the time of year that something like last Sunday we had a snow day. It snowed all day. I got this. I had this, at night, watching some Office on Netflix, enjoying this beer, and doing exactly what the label says. Just settling down and enjoying.
Which Office?
The American Office.
I don't remember you really liking the American Office that much.
I got more into it because Sarah likes it a lot, and we just started watching it together, and it's like, oh, this is actually a really good show.
I remember you liked the British one.
I love the British one. But the American one's, I think it's also really good. All right, so obviously you're already teasing us with your next beer. What is it? Russian River? Is that what it's called? Supplication, ale-aged in Pinot Noir, barrels of cherries added. Ooh, so tell me about this beer.
It's a brown ale aged in Pinot Noir wine barrels for 1 year with sour cherries. It's got Brett yeast, lactobacillus, and P. Pedococcus bacteria.
Ooh.
So this is a brown sour with cherries from Russian River Brewery, known world famous for their Pliny the Elder. I was drinking on an episode just recently. Also known for their great barrel-aged sours. Nice cap and cork action.
Nice. Tells you what kind of glass to pour it in.
Tells you what glass to use. So I did, in fact, have my Honest Abe tulip glass to use.
Nice.
This bad boy. Hey, that's funny. Check this out. They have their phone number. Can you read it?
It's blurry. No, I can't actually.
Hold
Hold it a little bit farther away. Stupid camera. Whatever.
It's 888-950-BEER.
888. Got to represent the 888.
Yeah, exactly. So, figured I'd have something a little bit different, so it's not just regular old brown ale.
How long have you had that beer? And did you buy that as a single bottle or?
Yeah, this is just one bottle. I bought it about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago.
Is there a bottle shop near your house, or are there just a lot of bottle shops in LA? Because I feel like there's not a lot here in Denver. There's not a lot of places where you can buy individual bottles of beers and can't.
Well, these are sold this way. These are only sold by themselves.
Okay.
So yeah, you're not gonna find like a 6-pack of this.
Right.
So there's a liquor. I think I bought this like. That's interesting. Now I'm thinking like Sunday. So like I've only had it for like less than a week, really. But I have been stopping into one particular bottle shop that I really like, that I know gets Russian River beer, probably like maybe like once a week for the past like month or two, hoping that they would have this. And I showed up the other day, and they just happened to have one.
Nice.
They actually had more than one. They had a whole cooler stocked full of them. But I've been wanting to get one of these, and it was funny because I grabbed it, and I told my wife, who was on the video earlier, how I was like, oh man, I got a bunch of beer in the fridge. I don't necessarily know if I want to buy this, especially because I have a bunch of sour beer already in the fridge. So I was like, but I've been trying to find a bottle of this for a while, so I would feel stupid not to just buy it, you know?
Right.
Then, days later, you said you wanted to do brown ales. So it was perfect. Or brown beer. It was perfect because I did buy it. I had it. It was like $18.99. And I think I just accidentally cheers to the microphone.
It's all right.
And so then I had it for the show, so it was perfect.
Nice. Where is your microphone? I don't even see it.
It's right here. It's right there.
I don't see it.
I mean, you're not going to be able to see it because it's not on the camera.
Oh, is it the USB mic or is it the built-in mic? Yeah, I'm just seeing a wall.
Yeah, can't see it.
All right, back to you.
Back to me. Back to the lesson at hand. Perfection is perfected, so we gotta understand.
I'm only seeing a frame. There you are.
There we are. That's me.
Cool.
This is the beer. That's what it looks
Cool.
like.
It's got like a dark orange hue to it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Been aged in those Pinots.
So it's gonna taste a little winey, a little bit on the winey side.
Yeah, just like you.
Good one.
I nailed you to the cross on that one.
Hashtag wrecked.
Hashtag wrecked it.
Hashtag 1-800 Burn Center.
Did you ever watch Kimmy Schmidt?
No. I didn't.
Unbreakable. Oh, you should watch it.
We watched one episode. We didn't like it. It was weird.
By we didn't like it, did you mean that Sarah wasn't smart enough to get the jokes?
No, we both watched it and we looked at each other like, what the hell is this shit?
You should have stuck with it. It's a good show.
That's what I've heard. But I don't know.
Okay.
What about it though?
There's a Pinot Noir song that's really good.
Oh, okay.
But you don't know about it because you're dumb. Bad person. You don't understand good comedy. I'm gonna drink this beer, huh?
Help me. Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds great.
Yeah, does it? I bet it does.
Rich, defined, complex.
Yeah. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you liked it. I'm glad we're doing a video now. This is why we do video. Just to see your reaction.
You messed it up. You messed up that sip by talking. You shouldn't have been talking. You needed the silence. It's okay.
All that?
Yeah, I'm
It
not
sounds
getting
like
a
it's
lot of
supposed to be
character
like
from the barrel.
super fucking delicious.
I'm not getting a super great character from the barrel. There's some tartness, a little funkiness. The cherries I think are more bitter than like sour. So I'm getting like a bitter cherry. It's the back of the tongue, a little meatiness, but not umami, but just like a little meaty. It's not terrible.
Right.
Definitely wouldn't say that. I've had a few good sours lately, and This is a more mellow sour, though. So I could see someone who's not, like, big into sours enjoying this. It's not super over-the-top tart. It's a little bit more funky. I think it needs to open up as well. I think this might be better if I let it warm up a little bit. Kind of get the full complexity of it. So, yeah. A little pimento, kind of. It's interesting, because I did want to get, like, an odd brewin or whatever, like a sour brown. And this, I don't know if this is a sour brown. I think this is a brown ale that was aged in Pinot barrels with lacto. And I'm like, I mean, what's the argument, right? What's the difference there? I don't know, because I'm not a brewer and I'm not like from Belgium, but I feel like it's not exactly the same thing. This is more like a brown, it'd be like a golden sour aged in barrel, like rather than a actual like brown ale, you know. So it's good. Yeah, I'm just interesting flavors. Like I said, I think this might need to open up a little bit.
Well, what's the verdict for Untapped? What are you giving it?
I'm gonna wait. Like I said, I'm gonna let it open up, and then I'm gonna be for sure.
Okay. What how do they keep when they age stuff in barrels? How do they make sure that's completely sanitary? Like, how do they make sure there's not mold and bacteria growing in there? No?
That's the point.
Huh?
That's the point.
That's the point.
The point of doing barrel aging or cool ships or whatever is that it's wild. It's not sanitary. It's not kept from like actual live bacteria infecting the beer. That's the point.
Right, but how do they know that bad stuff won't ruin it? Is what I'm saying. Like something.
You gotta hope that it doesn't. You keep it clean. You put the bacteria that you want. But realistically, what happens with sour beer is bad stuff ruining it. Like it's natural bacteria is growing inside of it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Whether it's a whiskey barrel,
the thing that you're trying to say, like how do they keep this from happening, is actually what they're trying to have happen.
Oh, I just thought if there was a way for it to get ruined and be, a fucking health hazard or something. I don't know.
Well, you don't want a bunch of air to get in there because that can mess up the beer. That's
Okay.
it. So they keep air out.
Well, then, simplified answer to a simple question. I like it. Just keep the air out. That makes sense.
Air out.
All right. So whether it's a whiskey barrel or a tequila barrel or whatever, just keep it airtight.
Right.
Let nature take its course.
Well, I guess it's slightly different if it's on a sour beer. Right? If you're just doing like a barrel-aged stout and all you want is for it to age in the barrel to get some barrel complexity, then it's a whole nother thing because you're wanting the barrels to be neutral and have no bacteria in there. But it's still the same thing. You just don't want air to get in there.
Right. All right. Well, Tim, anything
The
else?
idea, right, is that like most bacteria and stuff like that are going to get killed by the alcohol that's naturally occurring in the beer.
Yeah.
Right? So they won't be able to live in beer because they can't live in alcohol.
Gotcha.
So,
well, there you go. That answers
that's the
my
ways
question.
I see it.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I was on a podcast the other day and I forgot to plug it on This Week in Wrestling. I guess I can plug it on this show.
Yeah, you can.
But this show will be out for a while.
After this quick break, which we're gonna take right now, when we come back, we're gonna announce our top beer.
Beer.
We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Before we get into it, Tim, is there anything you wanted to share with us? Anything going on in your life at all? Anything fun, interesting, exciting?
Well, I mentioned that other podcast that I was on.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I was on the No Bumps podcast. It's I guess the successor to the Shrinks. It is a wrestling inspired podcast with Dan Scotty, who was on Top Beer before. Remember, he was one of only 2 Top Beer guests that we've ever had.
That's right.
I was with him only. The show is supposed to be, the Shrinks, which is Brock, who's also been on the show. Unfortunately, you weren't on the show with Brock. And then Andrew, which I think was on the show with you. I don't know if you were on with Andrew.
Shillinglaw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were on that show. So yeah, so I was on with just Dan Scotty. And we were talking about the Royal Rumble that's coming up and beer games, drinking games to play during the Royal Rumble. So yeah.
How do you get involved in all these shows? How do you find the time?
I don't know. Practice. I just have time, I guess. I don't know. How many hours do you work a week?
40.
Okay, me too. And what other hobbies do you have outside of the podcast?
That's a good question. Pretending to write, pretending to read.
Pretending. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
What was the last book you read?
I'm currently reading a couple books, actually.
Okay. Tell me about them.
I'm rereading Watchmen. Which is
Okay,
a
that's a
graphic
comic
novel.
book.
It's not really
Okay.
it's a comic book. Yeah, it's a
That's
graphic
fine.
novel. Whatever. I'm reading a Star Wars book right now. I'm also reading The Shining.
Okay.
So yeah, but I say pretending because how often does one actually get to sit down and
Right.
get their mind off of things and read? There's too many distractions, Tim. Too much social media and Facebook. I deleted the Facebook app off my phone, by the way.
Smart.
I still have the webpage version.
Right. And do you have the Messenger app?
I do.
Yeah.
You
Do
save
you,
a
use,
lot.
do you use WhatsApp?
I have it. I don't ever use it.
Don't read it. Okay.
Do you?
Only with Alicia, honestly.
Why?
I don't know. I guess just because it helps so that we don't have communication errors. Like the SMS-based text messages mess up,
Right. As you were saying that, you froze up for a second.
I know, it's perfect.
Cool. All right. Well, Tim, I think you know what time it is.
What time is it?
Time to announce our top beer. See, now that it's a video podcast, I gotta do like some kind of special effect there.
Should put fire. Boo, boo.
Just like fire burning up the rain.
Or just like fireworks.
So, Tim, I'll let you
Baby,
go first.
you're a firework. Let me hear your colors burst. You know that song I'm talking about? Up
Katy
into
Perry.
the sky. Katy Perry is like real life Taylor Swift.
Why?
You know how the alt-right thinks that Taylor Swift is like the perfect like white ethno-state female singer?
Yeah.
Isn't Katy Perry like actually like conservative and like into that bullshit? Like not like, I'm not saying she's alt-right and into like a white ethno-state.
Well, didn't she
but
start
she is
like
more
Christian
conservative.
rock or something? That's how she started her
Yeah,
career.
and like, okay, here's another thing. Think about her first two hit songs, right? Her first song was "You're So Gay," which was talking shit about how a guy was gay, like it was a bad thing. And then her second song was "I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It," which is like furthering the expectation that like it's bad to be gay if you're a man, but it's good to be like lesbian or bi-curious if you're a woman. It's sexy and hot. So like it's totally like that conservative bullshit, like buying into like gender norms,
I never knew about the gay song. That's news to me.
That was like her first single.
See, because the I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It. See, I thought that would be her sort of leaving her conservative values behind by saying, hey, it's cool that you kiss someone of the same gender, but you're saying it's only cool if you're a woman.
It's only cool if you're a woman, yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
It's even worse than white feminism. It's white bisexuality.
Hold on. There's a lot to unpack in what you just said. What's white feminism as opposed to regular?
White feminism is that bullshit where like white women don't appreciate the intersectionality of black women having to deal, or not even just black, but just women of color having to deal with like more oppression and more issues than they do. And then so then they're like, no, thank you. We don't want you part of our like argument where you're like trying to mix in like black issues and women's issues. We just want, essentially what they're saying is like, oh no, we don't want to fix like real like other problems. We just want like the white men to treat us white women better.
Right.
And like the rest of you colored people can fuck off. Like you're gonna continue to suffer because you're colored.
That's
like it's not about being a woman.
Yeah, that's the problem with putting labels on it on every movement. As you run into shit like that.
Well, no, that's not a movement. There isn't like a white feminist movement. There isn't like a movement of white women that are like, hey, we're white feminists, because then they're just like fucking white power women.
Right.
They just suck. They probably would care less about feminism, but but like it just happens. It's also like turf. Like do you know like turf feminists? It's like the idea that like there's feminists who exclude like transgender women.
Oh,
They don't consider transgender women to be women, so they don't deserve the same like space in the feminist argument.
did you ever see that show
Transparent?
Transparent with Jeffrey
Yeah.
Tambor? There's
I
an
like that.
episode where they go to like a feminist like boot or a feminist.
No, that was a different thing. But yeah,
No, but he was getting shit on in that episode because he was a transgendered woman in it, and there were women
Right.
there who were like, "Well, you're not really a part of us." You know?
yeah. That was a different thing. But yes,
It's similar. It's the same thing we were talking about, though.
right. No, it is.
He was sort of being ostracized because he was a transgendered woman as opposed to a.
right.
You know what I mean?
But not everyone there was into that. But yeah, that was like the same thing. That was like the reason why they were uncomfortable with her being there was like a turf thing.
Right.
Right.
That's new to me. It's funny that I'd never heard that Taylor Swift was the face was the unofficial face of the alt-right as far as
no. What's the thing when like you don't embrace it?
I don't know.
What's the word? Whatever.
Just unofficial.
Anyways,
Right.
not unofficial. Unofficial would mean like that it's not like sanctioned by the body
Oh, okay.
that
Okay.
it's representing. This is where like the person who is being given something does not want the thing, and I'm trying to think of that word. You know what I'm talking about?
I do, and
If you're just trying to write, you should know this word.
I should, but I don't, and that's a
What is
shame.
the word for that when you have something that you don't want, or you like have to take something that you don't agree with?
Oh man,
It's a tough one.
Is it when
We're looking real dumb right now.
Is it when you're trying to appease somebody?
Not exactly. It's like you're just like you have something that you don't necessarily choose to have.
Yeah. Listen.
Anyways,
it'll come
whatever.
to you. It'll come to you,
Yeah,
and when it
at some
does,
point.
we're gonna
But
provide
anyways,
an update.
she's the white, like especially like white power, weird fucking like alt-right types, like have like taken her as their own and try to like point out that like she's like this, standard for white feminism when
Right.
like she's not.
Gotcha. All right. I did not know that, but apparently that's a thing. That's very interesting. But listen, let's get back to what we were talking about before. I feel like your wife has had like 3 outfit changes since she's been on the show, by the way.
So we're wearing the same thing.
No, I changed.
Oh, okay.
See? I pay attention.
I start singing in the background pretty soon.
Okay, if you say so.
Tim, what's your top beer?
You wanna do it?
Supplication.
Gotcha. Okay. That's the one you're currently drinking? Yes. All right, cool. I'm kind of torn, Tim.
Uh-huh.
I like both these
Nothing's
beers.
right, I'm torn.
These are both really good beers.
Okay.
But which one is browner? Which was more of a brown ale than the other one? Though I feel like it would be face down brown ale.
Face down together.
I feel like Settle
Okay.
Down. Like I said, I feel like every beer that Odell makes is like this has to be hop forward no matter what. But we were doing this episode to discuss brown ale, so I'm gonna go with face down. I'm gonna give it to them.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it to that's
like
Tell
it.
You Ride Brewing Company. So there you go. That's my top beer. Cool.
Beer. Perfect.
We did it. Anything you want to plug before we go?
Other than your sweet ass, no.
Okay, great.
I plugged all my stuff earlier. Follow me on Twitter at Lucha Undead. Follow me on Untapped at Lucha Undead. Follow the podcast on Instagram at Lucha Undead. Also me, kind of. I need to move over and use that one primarily. Yeah.
I gave you the password, so
I know. I'm logged in. I just have to actually do stuff.
follow me on Untapped at Della Boots. Follow me on Twitter at Della Boots. Yeah, Tim. I mean, I feel like there's always something we like to go out on every show. Last time you kind of just did whatever, but this time this is an official top beer episode, especially with the new format.
Right.
Tell us
Last
about
time it was you didn't tell me it was supposed to be a new format thing. It was like it came together
It was
thing.
kind of an afterthought.
Yeah. So that's on you.
Okay.
100%
I'll
your
take it.
responsibility. But yeah, life is all about those 3 Bs. We all know those 3 Bs. They're the most important bees on the planet Earth. They are literal honeybees. Very important. Good browns, which is the beers that we've been drinking tonight, and good banter, which is what we do when we talk. Good night, everyone.